and this is with regard to, remember the recent bomb threat calls that were coming to Indian Airlines? There were emergency stopovers that were happening, and now the Indian government has taken a big step. Central agencies are likely to approach VPN service providers so that they can track the origin of these calls. Remember, VPNs are being used in these calls so that the locations can be diverted and distracted. In the latest, Air India's Mumbai-London flight received a threat mid-air. This was on Thursday evening. UK Royal Air Force sent a fighter jet to help the aircraft land safely. The flight then landed eventually at the Heathrow airport. Amid several threats that are coming in to different Indian aircrafts. Remember, this is a burden. We're talking about lives of innocent hundreds of passengers. Authorities have narrowed down a suspect who allegedly made the threats from a certain handle. According to sources, the suspect routed the activity through IP addresses that were traced to London and Germany.
So we are ensuring that these kind of fake bomb threats don't happen in the future, and any change in rules or change in legislation we are thoroughly pursuing from our department also, so that it becomes a strict barrier for people who are trying to do these kind of prank things. And also the police are pursuing the cases and trying to find out who are behind this, and in fact the Home Affairs is also helping us a lot in that area. Other than that, whatever needs to be done, because airlines are also feeling a lot of inconvenience, including the passengers also. So we don't want these kind of situations to repeat themselves. So from the ministry, we are ensuring that some action is being taken on these kind of issues so that they don't become precedent for future.
Now remember, amid all of this prank or hoax calls, it cannot be taken lightly, because you are talking about mid-air with regard to life of hundreds of passengers and crew. And therefore, for now, what are the experts saying? India Today's Shiv Arur spoke to Wing Commander Anil Goyal on these threats that are coming in, specifically of Indian Airlines. Let's listen.
As a pilot, sir, can you tell us what happens when a bomb scare happens? What is the set procedure? Do the pilots have a choice, or there is a very clear laid down procedure where an aircraft has to land immediately and investigate?
See, as soon as you get a bomb scare definitely the air traffic controllers inform the pilot, because we don't get any information. Like most of the threats have come via social media.
Yeah.
So this social media access is not available to pilots when they are flying. So correct. This call, whenever this kind of calls come or threat is emerges, this message is conveyed from air traffic controllers to the pilot. And there is a set protocol which is followed, which is defined by Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, DGC and Ministry of Home Affairs. If the aircraft is in domestic environment, the pilots are required to take certain actions. If it is an international environment, then they seek international help from the country over which they are flying, and a set pattern is followed. There are designated airfields where a aircraft with a bomb hoax threat can land, because we need to have a lot of security arrangements over there also to carry out certain checks on the aircraft, certain checks on the baggages which are kept in the hold, the luggage which is carried, and the load which is carried. So everything has to be properly checked. So those airports have to be properly equipped with equipment which can do these kind of checks. Remember, these checks can continue for after the aircraft lands, can continue for almost 8 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a big loss not only to the airline but to the passengers also who are stranded over there. So definitely this is a very big area of concern for as a pilot as well as for the passengers.
My colleague Amit Bhardwaj is tracking the latest on that. Amit, this is definitely concerning. How are the central agencies proceeding with it?
In this particular case, Pooja, what is happening is that we can look at a three-pronged approach which the central agencies are looking at, and the Ministry of Civil Aviation top sources have confirmed. Number one is obviously these threats which are coming, the hoax threats which are coming. In many of the cases, VPN services are being used by these callers or the pranksters in many of the cases, because they think that this is a fun, but this is actually affecting the safety of passengers, number one. Number two, it incurs a lot of economic cost as well for any airlines to ground their flight in case of emergency. And there's a huge security paraphernalia which goes into work when such hoax threats come in, so that the central agencies will now be approaching the VPN service providers to find out immediately from where these threats have actually originated, because so far what is happening is that because of the VPN services you have IP addresses bouncing from one country to other, so it's very difficult for the agencies to track down as to from where the threat originated. It takes a lot of time. Now the second approach is that definitely Civil Aviation's Ministry is going to make changes in its rules, because they believe that this menace which has occurred in the country, which has become
disturbing,
very
Amit, because
now,
I cannot imagine that somebody would do a prank call specifically on these airlines, on the passengers, and if this is genuine and someone's testing waters, it needs to be investigated at the earliest, and I'm sure that the agencies are on the job on it. Thank you very much, Amit, on that.